Introduction to Law and Legal Issues in Athletic Training. This week, we will cover a variety of ways in which the law is challenged in athletic training. We have state practice acts, federal mandates, and potentially local mandates to abide by. We also have the extraneous variables of interacting with different people each day. This elevates the risk of legality to an extreme when it is not just having to worry about yourself. Please understand that you can do everything in your power to protect yourself from litigation, but it cannot protect you from being sued. Individuals can bring a lawsuit for various reasons. The only thing that you can do is protect yourself and put yourself in the best position possible to win a case, and that's what we'll talk about. Some objectives that we will cover. We will review jurisdiction, review specific lawful terms, review negligence, and discuss how to avoid liability. Are sports medicine and athletic training synonymous? Are the two the same? Sports medicine is a branch of healthcare encompassing several disciplines. This applies to the medical and scientific knowledge to prevent and care for injuries or illnesses related to sport, exercise, or recreational activity, and in doing so, enhances the health, fitness, and performance of the participant. Athletic training is a medical profession involved in the prevention, assessment, treatment, and rehabilitation of injuries to athletes and other patient populations who are active. Athletic training has been recognized as an allied healthcare profession since the 1990s. So, no, sports medicine and athletic training are not synonymous, although many people understand the term sports medicine more than they understand athletic training. For many people, athletic training is still somewhat of a misnomer. We don't really train athletes, but we do prevent their injuries, and we are a medical profession. Therefore, using appropriate terminology and making sure that we are practicing with the highest standard of care is vital to our success as an individual and as a community of professionals. Federal governance. The federal governance of athletic training is essentially the strategic alliance. The strategic alliance is made up of the four governing agencies of athletic training. These four agencies include the National Athletic Trainers Association, the National Athletic Trainers Association Research Foundation, the Commission on Accreditation of Athletic Training, also known as CATI, and the Board of Certification, known as the BOC. The National Athletic Trainers Association, or NATA or NATA's mission is to enhance the quality of health care provided by certified athletic trainers and to advance the athletic training profession. Entry-level athletic training clinical proficiencies define the common sets of skills that entry-level athletic trainers should possess. The NATA puts forth the Code of Ethics. This is the principles of ethical behavior that should be followed by the practice of athletic training. The NATA Code of Ethics encompasses principles of ethical behaviors that should be followed in the practice of athletic training. There are four basic principles for the NATA Code of Ethics. Principle 1. In the role of an athletic trainer, members shall practice with compassion, respecting the rights, well-being, and the dignity of others. Principle 1 is associated with the professional values of respect, caring, and compassion, and competence. Principle 2, members shall comply with the laws and regulations governing the practice of athletic training, National Athletic Trainers Association or NATA membership standards, and the NATA Code of Ethics. Principle 2 is associated with the professional values of accountability. Principle 3, the members shall maintain and promote high standards in their provision of services. Principle 3 is associated with the professional values of caring and compassion and accountability. And finally, Principle 4, members shall not engage in conduct that could be construed as a conflict of interest, reflects negatively on the athletic training profession, or jeopardizes a patient's health and well-being. Principle 4 is associated with the professional values of respect. The NATA also allows for education, research, and helps to support the development of new practice settings. The NATA Research Foundation is involved in scholarships enhancing research and educational needs. The CATIE, or Commission on Accreditation of Athletic Training, sets the standards of athletic training curriculum. This group sets our professional standards and determines which knowledge competencies must be obtained by students graduating from professional programs. The mission of the CATIE is to serve the public and profession by establishing and ensuring compliance with accreditation standards that facilitate quality outcomes and continuous improvement, innovation, and diversity to enhance athletic training education. The values of the CATIE include accountability, transparency, integrity, excellence, leadership, and collaboration. The CATIE was formerly housed and located in Texas, but has recently relocated to Washington, D.C. And lastly, the BOC, or the Board of Certification. This group awards the athletic training certification credential. The mission of the BOC is to certify athletic trainers and to identify for the public quality health care professionals through a system of certification, adjudication, standards of practice, and continuing competency programs. The BOC puts forth two really important documents, including the Standards of Professional Practice and the Role Delineation Study. The Standards of Professional Practice is a professional practice and disciplinary process that is intended to assist and inform the public, certificants, and candidates for certification of the BOC Standards of Professional Practice. The Standards of Professional Practice essentially outline what athletic trainers should and should not be able to do within our scope of practice. The Role Delineation Study defines the current entry-level knowledge, skills, and abilities required for practice in the profession of athletic training. This serves as a blueprint for the National Certification Examination. Regional governance. Within athletic training, there are currently 10 districts with the proposal of an 11th district. Texas is part of District 6. District 6 makes up only two states, Texas and Arkansas. There is an interactive map of the districts at the NATA and the BOC websites. Each state and district has someone on the Judicial Review Committee, and each state has lobbyists, and sometimes there are even district lobbyists. A lobbyist is essentially an individual that is in Washington and meets with government agencies to discuss issues that our state or district is concerned about, and these individuals try to create reform surrounding policies and procedures at the district, state, regional, or even federal level. A district does not necessarily provide governance. The governance of you being an athletic trainer in Texas comes from the federal and state levels. The districts primarily are concerned with networking, providing scholarships, and supporting the states how and when they need it. There is funding from the National Athletic Trainers Association provided to each district. State and local governance. The Texas State Athletic Training Association was created to own, operate, and maintain an association exclusive to the promotion, enhancement, and advancement of the athletic training profession and the association members in Texas. The TSATA is by Texas athletic trainers, about Texas athletic trainers, and for Texas athletic trainers, and it strives to serve as the voice of the athletic trainers in Texas. As mentioned previously, you will have governance from the federal level and the state level. Texas is quite unique in the fact that we still have a Texas licensure route to becoming an athletic trainer. This isn't really important for you since you are enrolled in a CATIE accredited program, which means that you will sit for the Board of Certification exam to obtain your certification credential. State regulations are intended to protect the public from harm by unqualified individuals. There is a legal foundation to assure quality of care is received. There are legal standards that vary from state to state. It is the responsibility of the certified athletic trainer to understand and satisfy the standards of the scope of practice as defined in the state statutes. Licensure is the strictest form of state regulation. A license provides government permission for an individual to practice a profession. Certification is another option. Obtaining a state certification differs from the certification as an athletic trainer at the national level. The certification at the state level indicates that a person has the basic knowledge and skills required in the profession and has passed the National Certification Examination, also known as the BOC. Some states endorse a registration for athletic trainers. In these states, an individual who wishes to practice athletic training within the state must register within a government. In these states, an individual who wishes to practice athletic training within the state must register with a governmental agency. The state may or may not have educational prerequisites for registration, and an individual can be removed from the registration for abuse, fraud, or harm to the public or patient. At this time, California currently has no regulation. This means that anyone in California, with or without formal training, could claim to be an athletic trainer. The question of licensure in California has been a prominent issue and continues to be even at the national level. Individuals are working hard to try to protect the field of athletic training so that individuals who are not properly trained cannot claim to be an athletic trainer. Hopefully, one day California will have some sort of registration, licensure, or certification. In Texas, we still have licensure. Hawaii requires only registration, and New York and South Carolina have state certifications. TDLR, or the Texas Department of Licensure and Registration, is who we obtain our Texas licensure through for athletic training. Texas has a dual credential state, and as a BOC credentialed athletic trainer, you must also obtain a Texas licensure. Each state is independent of what they require to obtain license, if it is required. In Texas, you will take a rules and regulation test. It's rather easy and straightforward, and you can even have multiple browsers open so that you can refer back to the test and the state laws at the same time. Each state also has specific continuing education criteria to maintain your credentials. Athletic training domains. You may hear your professors talk about standards, CADE accreditations, or other credentialing processes. The athletic training credentialing process and BOC examination are based upon these items. The domains of practice for athletic training are how you act within your responsibility. The Practice Analysis 8th edition creates a breakdown of BOC topics and state legislation. Then we have the 2020 standards for professional programs. This is put forth by the CADE. These are educational competencies and standards. The practice analysis defines the current entry-level knowledge, skills, and abilities required for practice in the profession of athletic training. This serves as a blueprint for determining the content on the National Certification Exam. The BOC practice analysis has 5 domains. Domain 1 includes risk reduction, wellness, and health literacy. Domain 2, assessment, evaluation, and diagnosis. Domain 3, critical incident management. Domain 4, therapeutic intervention. And Domain 5, healthcare administration and professional responsibility. On this slide, you can see that the BOC practice analysis and the CADE curricular content standards are both listed. Just like the practice analysis, there are 5 domains on your BOC certification exam. There are 5 domains on your Board of Certification examination. This is a breakdown of the percent of items on the examination. As you progress through your curriculum, we will be covering different areas that assess each one of these 5 domains. So by the time you get ready to take your BOC examination, you should be more than ready.